Here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the big story today is the first major crash of the month, and it involved our defending race winner, Buddy Rice. We'll update his status and how this hard hit could impact his whole Rahal Letterman team as SportsCenter at Indy begins next.
This is SportsCenter at the Indianapolis 500.
It is day 2 of open practice here at Indy, and the pressure is starting to build as the speeds escalate. So do the risks these guys are asked to take. On the track right now, we're watching live action here. Adrian Fernandez getting in the car for the first time here in 2005, driving a Honda-powered machine owned by co-owned along with Mo Nunn. And of course, Fernandez won 3 times in the final 6 events of 2004. Welcome to SportsCenter Indy 500. I'm Jerry Punch, joined by our IndyCar veteran Scott Goodyear. Glad to have you with us. Of course, the big story today, Scott, is the hard impact into the turn 2 wall earlier by the defending race winner, Buddy Rice. The track had just opened for practice shortly after noon when Rice's machine abruptly snapped sideways between turns 1 and 2. And Scotty, break it down for us. What happened to Buddy Rice?
Simply got to the apex of the turn, Doc, and the car came around from him. We don't know if it was actually an error from his part going into the turn or if it was something that broke on the car, but a very hard hit. You can see here after he's hit the safer barrier, sliding across the track. Koski Masura does a great job just avoiding hitting Buddy Rice and brings his car down to the inside and locks all 4 wheels up. Now watch this impact. He goes in. Remember, he just did a lap of over 222 miles an hour, so that impact itself was probably still around the 210 mile an hour range, and I can tell you from experience that is a huge hit. You see them repairing the safer barrier there. That's a skid plate that's going to actually go on there today. The skid marks going up to the safer barrier. They'll replace that section of safer barrier tonight with a new section, and that safer barrier, Doc, is the biggest hit that I've seen with that big dent in it in the last 2 years that we've actually used that.
It took a while for them to get Buddy Rice out of the car. He was examined here by Dr. Henry Bach and taken to Methodist Hospital, where he remains at Methodist Hospital. What's going on with Buddy? Well, the man who can give us the update on Buddy is standing by with Marlo Klain.
I'm joined now by Bobby Rahal, Buddy Rice's owner. Bobby, what can you tell us about Buddy Rice's condition at this point?
Well, he's been through all kinds of tests. He's fine, no broken bones or anything. He's got a very sore back. You know, he hit square on, and it looked like I might have stretched his muscles in his back or something. So he's real sore, real tender there. But other than that, he's fine. And they're just keeping him overnight because it's he's sore.
He also does have a concussion, but as far as the accident goes, what does he remember of what happened?
Well, I haven't spoken to him, so, you know, everybody else has been there, and but I'm going to see him in a little bit. But he apparently doesn't remember, which you wouldn't, I wouldn't think. And, you know, nobody, Masura was right behind him, and he said everything looked fine. But, you know, it's just unfortunate because it looked like he lost it at a very early part of the corner, and it's kind of curious.
As far as this weekend goes, they are saying the doctors are not going to allow him to be in the car this weekend. What are the plans for you guys? Well,
we'll run qualified Danica and Vitor, we assume, and Buddy will just qualify next week. I mean, he's our guy. At least that's the plan as of right now, and I see no reason to change it.
As far as this weekend with qualifying, you don't plan on putting anyone else in the car at all?
No, because if they qualified the car and then Buddy did race it, which we assume he will, we'd have to move him to the back of the grid. If he qualifies next weekend, he could be as high as 23rd. So, you know, why do it? I think it's better to just put him in the car when he's fit and go qualify it.
Bobby, we've heard mixed reports as far as if he ever lost consciousness in the car. Did he lose consciousness in the car?
Not from what I've heard, no. In fact, he got up out of the car and was walking around. So now they said apparently you can have a slight concussion and not be unconscious. So, but he's alerted. He's mad naturally. Very disappointed in himself. But you know, that's the way things go, and he'll be back, I'm sure.
All right, thanks a lot, Bobby.
Thank you.
Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Marlo. Well, that's good news. A strained lower back, a mild concussion, no obvious fractures, and he'll be held overnight at Methodist Hospital. Not able to qualify this weekend. He'll have to go next week. Now, before we get into how this impacts the team, what about Buddy Rice himself? I mean, what does this kind of hard crunch do to a driver mentally here at Indy?
Well, I think the key thing right now for Buddy is that when he comes back, he's always going to have that in the back of his mind when he enters into turn 2. Knowing what happened here just today, no matter when he gets in the car, time doesn't erase those sort of things, especially as such a hard impact impact that he had right there. Like we say, we don't know if it was something that he did or something with the car, but it's in the back of his mind. So mentally, that's a tough one. Physically, you know, I question whether or not he's actually going to be able to go the 200 laps here, which is a 500 miles with all the pit stops we have. You know, Indianapolis is a tough race, 230 miles an hour top speed. This is just a big effort for a driver to complete this race here.
And Scotty, as for the team's concerned, I mean, the clock is ticking toward pole day, and they have lost their quarterback, the senior member of that team, the leader in that team. How do they fare with a rookie, Danica Patrick, and Vitor Meira, who's never won a race, trying to get ready to run for the pole?
Well, I think in my mind, from what I've seen right now, those guys are very strong. That whole team is very strong. Danica Patrick right now is second quickest today behind Tony Kanaan. She's up around 226.8 miles an hour. Very fast. Her learning curve keeps going. Vitor Meira, I'm surprised he hasn't won a race to date. Both those guys, I think, will be threats for the pole and also the front row. And maybe Buddy will be able to come back and take some of their information on setup and maybe transfer it to his car with the weather conditions next week and maybe have a shot at getting in on Saturday.
So second week qualifying for Buddy Rahal, defending pole winner and race winner here. You know, 2003 Series champion Scott Dixon may finally be getting his target with his efforts here in the month of May. When we come back, we'll visit with his owner, Chip Ganassi. Take a look at the top speeds of the day. Tony Kanaan, TK, they call him reigning series champion. Fastest lap of the month, 227.453. How about Danica Patrick continuing to show promise? Second quickest here in the afternoon. Back in a moment.
SportsCenter at the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by DiGiorno. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, live action. Actually, it has begun to rain here at Indianapolis. Weather moving in across the racetrack, and we are under a yellow condition as the trucks are on the track trying to dry this facility here for any practice that may resume here later on in the afternoon. Now, earlier today, 2003 Series champion Scott Dixon made a ride swap. He went from the Dallara he was in yesterday when he ran only 2:19.5 to a new Panoz chassis for the Target team. And the results, well, 226.8. Dixon is third quickest on the afternoon, and what a day for Scott Dixon. Earlier in the afternoon, after he climbed out of the car, Marlo Klain caught up with him.
Jerry, Scott Dixon ran 65 laps yesterday in the Dallara, but today, Scott, you guys have really committed to the Panoz. At this point, what do you think you guys are going to run for the race?
I think we'll probably stick with what we know with the G-Force at this stage. You know, we had a bit of a frustrating day yesterday with the Dallara. It's just so hard to catch up with, you know, time. You know, there is a lot of time in the month of May, but then you got to sort of throw totally out whether you go back to the G-Force, and at this stage we don't think we were close enough to the speeds that we could run on the G-Force to commit ourselves to the Dallara.
How frustrating is it for you to see what the Penske cars are doing with the Toyota Dallara combination?
It's pretty frustrating. You know, we're trying our hardest, and I think our team's definitely a very good team, you know, so I don't think we can be missing too much, but you know, they're definitely a little bit above us at the moment, and you know, with similar engines we had in 03, we were beating them, so we need to figure out what some of those differences are, and just, you know, hopefully try and pick up the pace a bit.
Since you won the championship, it has been a struggle for you guys. What do you feel like has been missing it?
I don't know. If we knew what that was, we would be fine. I don't know. There's been a few things. I think there's a few things that sent us in the downward spiral, and pretty much from Indy last year, we haven't really been that good, and it's frustrating because it is a winning team, and that's all we expect to do. We come here to be on pole and win races. So,
what are those things?
What's that? Sorry.
What are those things that you mentioned since Indy?
Well, you know, it's not one thing we can name. You know, there's been some things with you know, maybe with the performance of the engine, and it might have sent us in a bit of a tailspin with setups and things like that. But, you know, we're pretty much back to where we used to be, and we're still struggling for speed. So we're not really sure on what we're missing at this point in time.
All right, thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Jerry, back to you.
Thank you, Marlo. Scott Dixon, 2003 champion. There were his numbers in 2003. 3 wins, 9 top 5s. He led a ton of laps, 748 laps, and there's 0405. Obviously a bit of a slump for the former series champion, but hoping to break that slump here in the month of May. It is certainly now our pleasure to be joined by the owner of the Target Ganassi racing team, Chip Ganassi. And Chip, thanks for joining us here. I know what is a hectic afternoon for you.
That's quite all right. I'm glad to be here.
Got to ask you, so much pressure to get up to speed here in a hurry on this first week of pole qualifying. Why did you guys decide to add the Dallara chassis to the mix?
Well, Jerry, quite honestly, we want to, you know, we have some great partners, and we wanted just to show everybody involved that we're making every possible effort to to be on pole, to be up front, to do the best we can. If we show up with a Dallara chassis and that thing is 0.2 of a second faster, we wanted to make sure we had that available to us. And oftentimes you show up here in May and you can be at an equipment disadvantage, and we wanted to make sure we covered that base.
With the equipment, is that something that you wanted to try, or is that something the drivers are coming to you and saying, as an owner, something we need to go and find out what this is all about?
I think it's it's a team effort. I mean, we all sort of got together and said, look, do we want to take this chance? We had one Dallara in the shop already, and we just accessed 2 more. And here we are, trying them out yesterday and today.
As we look at Dixon on the track today, we talked to your people this morning, Managing Director Mike Hall and the guys in the garage. They said, we're not going to give up on Dallara, but if we are really, really good in this Panoz, we're going to have some decisions to make today. Well, obviously, exactly. 7 miles an hour quicker today than yesterday. What happens now with Scott Dixon the rest of the week?
Well, obviously, I think he pretty much said, we're going to stick with the Panoz, and that's the new name of the G-Force chassis for those people out there that don't know that. We'll stick with the Panoz now, but like he said, I don't know that we'll give up on the Dallara. We can test it. We can try it out next week. We can put old tires on it. We're looking for we're uncovering every rock, if you will. We're looking under every stone, turning over everything we can, trying to find that last 1/10 of a second.
With the new rules package that they have regarding testing, does that really hinder you guys from maybe going and doing as many miles as possible and maybe catching up to, say, somebody like Penske who has all the background and knowledge on the car?
Right. Scott, the interesting thing I think to point out to everyone is it's not a huge gap we're talking about. We're talking about over a 2.5-mile course here at Indianapolis. We're only talking about a 1/10 of a second. Mm-hmm. So we're not, you're not talking about big steps. We're not looking for a second or a 1.5 seconds. At these speeds, it doesn't take much to be at the front.
Chip, yesterday your impressive rookie Ryan Briscoe posted some very, very quick laps. Now, how has he gotten so comfortable so quickly here?
Well, interestingly, Ryan did a great job at St. Petersburg a few weeks ago. He was a test driver for the Toyota Formula One team. We brought him to the Target team thinking, hey, this guy fits our mold, fits Toyota's mold. We brought him in. We brought Arie Luyendyk back to be a sort of a driver coach, if you will, during the month of May here in Indianapolis. And it's worked out just great. He and Arie are clicking right away. They got up to speed right away. They talk each other's language. It's been a really good thing to have Arie coaching him. And, I think he'll be a contender.
You have a history of bringing young drivers here. Obviously, Bruno Junqueira came here and won the pole. Juan Pablo Montoya came here as a rookie and won the race, and he's done pretty well with his career, thanks to driving for Target Ganassi Racing. I got to ask you now, your third entry here, Darren Manning, coming in off 4 consecutive top 10 finishes to begin the year. He's been unseasonably quiet for Darren here, for Dashing Darren thus far. What's the plans for him between now and pole day?
Well, the plans are obviously we're very excited about Darren and how his career has progressed since he's been with our team. I think an interesting sidelight, the winner of the Kentucky Derby the last 2 years, the number of the winning horse has been the same number as the winner of the Indianapolis 500. I think it was the 6 and the 15.
Right.
And this year, Giacomo, the winner of the Derby, was number 10. So we're, I don't want to say we're relying on that with Darren, the fact that he's driving the number 10 Target car. But I think Darren's due for a win in this series. It's that simple. I mean, he's been all around it, and he's going to break out here this season for us, I think.
Now, Giacomo was a 50-to-1 long shot. Darren's more of a contender than Giacomo was when that race started.
Yes, he could be. I think I think when the odds come out on us, though, on Memorial Day, I think we are going to be somewhat. We won't be the favorite, I'm sure, but you never know what can happen during the race.
You speak about favorites, and the favorites seem to be anybody that's driving a Honda-powered car this month. So with you guys and doing so well with Toyota over the past couple of years and really pushing them as far as development's concerned, what is in store for Toyota-powered cars in your team over the next week coming up to qualify?
Well, interestingly enough, I'm glad you asked that, Scott. Toyota's done a great job so far this week in coming with new engines, updated engines every other day, really making an effort. And we have another step to go yet before qualifying in terms of our power plant. So they're coming with they're coming with more power, they say, and we're real proud of the job they're doing with us. Sure, it's been difficult, but they're a strong partner of ours, and we won't leave them in the dust just yet.
Well, let me pin you down here. Toyota set on the pole at Motegi at Honda's home track with Sam Hornish, and we're hearing in the garage area, Scott Goodyear, the super sleuth here from Canada, that we're hearing that Toyota has got some horsepower coming your way as early as this Friday. Could that be right?
Yes, that is, like I said, we have another step to go in terms of the engines they'll be supplying us this weekend for qualifying. So we're pretty excited about what's in store. Usually, if they don't have something, they say we don't have anything, but they're saying they have some things and they're coming.
Chip, when we talk to people who work for you, the people who have been working a long time in your operation, and we ask them about going to the Dallara and Panoz, they said that's what we love about working for Chip Ganassi, because he's never satisfied unless we're on the front row and winning races, and we are not doing either one right now. And I think these guys are pumped up because you're making them lean on the ragged edge now to find that extra speed.
I've got some great, that's the great thing about our team, Jerry, is we have great people that work on the team, both teams, whether it's here or in NASCAR. I'm surrounded with great people, so and people that love this business, and that's why we're here.
Well, Chip, thank you very much for taking time to join us on a hectic afternoon. We wish you well, and obviously the experiment is working for Scott Dixon, and the guys Manning is right there, and the rookie Briscoe has been sensational, so good luck for the rest of the month of May.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you.
Chip Ganassi, the owner of the Target Ganassi team, and there is Danica Patrick on the track as we take a look at some of the speeds on the racetrack, and you can see where your favorite driver has run today here in day 2 of open practice at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Back with more live coverage in just a moment.
Welcome back to SportsCenter at the Indianapolis 500.
Well, the track is quiet here right now at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rain is in the area. Weather has moved in, and so no track activities. We are under a yellow here in this final hour of what would be day 2 of practice. Well, rev up your engine Saturday afternoon as qualifying gets underway for the 89th running of the Indianapolis 500. See which cars and drivers run well and speed their way toward the pole position. The Indy 500 time trial Saturday on ESPN Live at 1 Eastern, then ABC at 4 Eastern, and ESPN 2 at 6 Eastern time. Well, as if the activity on the track each day isn't hectic enough, after the track closes, the demands on the driver's time really heat up. And last night, the driver and Ron Bowl teammates Roger Yasukawa and Jeff Bucknam paid a very special visit to the kids at the Riley Children's Hospital as part of a long-standing Racing for Kids charity program. Their visit is the topic of tonight's Indy After Hours.
I'm Roger Yasukawa, and we're here at the Riley's Hospital for the Racing for Kids visit. This is the first time for me at this hospital to go through the rooms, but I've been doing it a couple of times this year. So we'll see how the kids are feeling, and hopefully we'll get them autographs and perhaps take some picture, and hopefully they'll be happy. Hey Josh, how are you?
Good.
There's a card for you with your name on it. Have you watched the 500 before?
No.
No? You gonna try to watch it this time on TV?
Yeah.
Or something? Yeah, good. And you're gonna cheer for me?
Probably.
It's number 24. Hi. Hi.
Oh, he's blowing kisses.
All right. Kisses. There you go.
All right.
All right, bye. See you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Well, over the years, this Racing for Kids program has allowed drivers to visit more than 12,000 young patients at 180 hospitals nationwide, generating over $2.5 million in charitable donations. Coming up, it's day 3 of Tony's Take. We'll go inside the Andretti Green driver's locker room and answer that burning question, boxers or briefs?
Coming up on Tony's Take, you guys gonna see something that for sure you never saw before. So we're in the garage, but
all right, TK, here's his teammate, Danny Weldon, trying to get the Klein Tools machine up to speed. Boy, has he been quick all month long. As you look at other speeds on the left side of your screen, pick out where your favorite driver is running here in day 2 of practice at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And here's a look at the top speeds of the month. Tony Kanaan atop the speed charts this afternoon, 227.453 miles per hour for the 7-Eleven driver reigning series champion. Tony on the track earlier, but right now, earlier today, he took us inside the locker room as we take a look at Tony's Take.
All right,
Hi guys, another edition of Tony's Take. Today, obviously we're in the garage, but I'm gonna go show you guys something that is very unusual, so follow me. It's a driver's locker. So here basically where we get changed. Obviously we have 4 drivers, so 4 chairs, and you see sometimes a lot of action. But as you can see, Dan Weldon, it's all nice and organized. Look at this. Has his drink bottle here. That is a little bit messy. TK is completely messy. But, you know, I have a good place to, if you guys know Chuck, the guy that delivers the newspaper here, I have my name on it, and he puts the newspaper every day, every morning. I get the Indianapolis Star right here. So this is my side. So we have the helmets on the top, suit, and here's Brian's side. So a lot of things happen in this locker room, actually, because we play pranks. We, you know, we talk about it. Obviously, we're getting changed, so we threw stuff on people, you know, wet socks on people's face. Some of that stuff that you guys will find funny, but we spend a lot of time in this locker room. It's like a football field. So this is something that I found pretty interesting for you guys to see, because I don't think anybody shows that a lot. So stay tuned, because I have a lot more things coming, and then we're going to play a big prank this month on somebody in this team. I haven't found out who it's going to be, but it's happening for sure. So I'll see you guys later.
All right, thank you, TK. More from Tony Kanaan. A reminder, SportsCenter at the Indianapolis 500 will be here each weekday afternoon, 6:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2, Monday through Fridays. We get closer and closer to the 89th running of the Indianapolis 500. And once again, our top story of the day occurred just after noon local time here in Indianapolis. Hard impact by last year's reigning Indy 500 winner, Buddy Rice.
And a possibility that's putting him out for this weekend that we've heard for qualifying, Doc. But the key thing right now is the team will be back in the garage area reconstructing this accident through their black box technology, which is actually on the car. And that system is very similar to the ones that are used on commercial aircraft. So they're back there right now with the black box out of the car, reconstructing that on their computers to see if it was actually something broke in the car, or maybe something that Buddy Rice did as a driver that made him have that impact.
And in case you missed it, Marlo Klain talked to Bobby Rahal early in our show, and the update is this on Buddy Rice. He will remain at Methodist Hospital tonight. He will not be able to drive or qualify this weekend. His injuries are severe back contusion, mild concussion, no broken bones. That is great news, no fractures, but he is out of pole qualifying. Remember, he said on the pole a year ago, and that certainly could have an impact on this team.
Certainly, I think the thing that they have to do right now is concentrate on their 2 other drivers. And when you think about that, Danica Patrick, second quickest today, had a huge speed, just over 226 miles an hour, 226.8 I think she ended up with. She might be a threat for the pole, and Vitor Meira is also very quick, so he still has 2 very quick cars that have a chance not only at the pole, but obviously at the front row.
Once again, the top speeds of the day. Tony Kanaan, the reigning series champion, finished runner-up in this race a year ago, over 227, almost 227.5 miles per hour. The impressive rookie Danica Patrick, you know, in second overall right now on the speed charts, and certainly that could be a major factor on pole day. 2 more days of practice, Thursday and Friday. The run for the pole for the 89th Indy 500 comes your way on Saturday. ESPN, ABC, and ESPN2. Comprehensive coverage on our Disney family of networks right here live at the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Once again, reigning series winner here at the Indy 500, Buddy Rice, injured in an incident today. He will not qualify on pole day. Back with more tomorrow on SportsCenter.